It is a time every Monday we get a visit from the survivalist, emergency preparedness expert Stefan Verstappen, and he's here today to talk about bug out bags. Stefan, welcome back. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing good, Richard. How are you doing?
Very well. What is a bug out bag?
Well, a bug out bag goes by several different names. Some people call it an emergency evacuation kit, which is more descriptive of what the purpose of this thing is. Other people call it a 72-hour kit, which describes how long the ingredients of this bag should last you. And among preppers and survivalists, they call it a bug out kit. Now, bug out in prepper parlance means to escape the city, to escape where you are, to run for the hills. And you may need to do that for any number of different reasons: floods, fires, um, gas spills, foreign invasion.
Yeah, Red Dawn.
Red Dawn. And basically, the idea is you got to get out of there. You got to run for the hills. Now, I remember this scene from War of the Worlds where Tom Cruise, after witnessing the alien ship come up out of the ground and start vaporizing people, run to his house, and he gets his daughter and his son. He says, "Start packing up," and they start throwing a whole bunch of crap into a paper box, and they're going to bug out. And of course, what he was able to assemble was completely useless. You cannot wait to the last minute to do this. Let's say, you get the report. You have to get out of your house now. You've got to evacuate at least 10 miles away from where you are. And this could be, again, for any number of reasons. So
Right, I think right here in our neck of the woods, the Mississauga chemical train derailment back in 1975, which made Mayor Hazel
yes.
McCallion's career.
Yeah, I know. I remember that, and I reference it all the time because you don't know what it could be. We have trains running through small town here, lots of trains carrying lots of equipment and chemicals. And what if one of them derails? This whole town would have to be evacuated in like 20 minutes. So get out of town, 20 minutes, get all the stuff you need to survive for the next week. You better have this put together ahead of time. That's why we call it a bug out bag or a 72-hour bag. So what we're looking at is, first of all, you're probably going to need one for every member of the family because one person is not going to be able to carry enough for more than one or two people. So if you've got kids, they should get a bug out bag. You should prepare it for them. All it's going to be is a school bag, like a book bag, but you're going to need to put stuff in there for the kids. You're also going to need to put stuff in there for yourself. And so let's go through some of the items that you need to put in there. Number one, enough food and water to last 72 hours, hence the name 72-hour kit. So we're talking about energy bars, we're talking liters of water, maybe ramen noodles, maybe a can of pork and beans, but enough so that you can make enough meals to last for 3 days. This becomes heavy, and the big problem is the water. Typically, it is recommended that every person have 6 liters of water per day. So if you're just one person, you need to carry 18 liters of water. And
That's not going to happen. That's not going to
it's
happen.
not going to happen because we know that a liter of water weighs a kilogram. Very easy to calculate. So you're looking at 35 pounds of water. For the average person to carry a 35-pound backpack is going to be strenuous. Most people can't do it. So grab a couple of liters of water. But now the other thing you're going to need in your bug out bag is those water purification tablets because you're going to need to find water on the run. Maybe you can find a public tap or drinking fountain and fill up there. Probably you can. But let's say you can't and you have to go and, drink water from the local creek. Then you
Stefan,
need,
something just occurred to me though. Should you assume that if you have to bug out, should you assume that you're going to be on foot? Because if you're going to drive, obviously you could carry more.
yes, you should assume that you're going to be on foot. That's the assumption I make. Listen, I recommend people store their bug out bag If they have a garage, store it in the garage. So it's right there. You can grab it, throw it in the car, get out quickly,
Okay.
right?
Got to take a quick time out, Stefan. We'll come back.
Okay.
Stefan Verstappen, emergency preparedness expert, formingcommunities.com, the website, formingcommunities.com, the website. Back with more on our discussion on bug out bags when the Richard Syrett Show returns right after these.
Back to the conversation on the Richard Syrett Show. News Talk, Saga 960 AM.
And we are back with Stefan Verstappen, martial artist, author, emergency preparedness expert, website formingcommunities.com, formingcommunities.com, and we're talking about bug out bags. So you mentioned that each person should pack enough supplies for 72 hours in like a book bag, a school book bag, one for every member of the family. The water issue is problematic because you need about 18 liters you'd need that's recommended over 72 hours per person. That's 35 pounds of water alone just per person. So you're saying water purification tablets, take a couple of liters of water, and then you'll have to, get some water on the run somewhere from a ditch or wherever, a stream. You can use the water for water purification tablets. What else goes in the bug out bag, Stefan?
Okay, so we talked about maps when the importance of getting paper maps when we talked about search and rescue. So put the maps in the bug out bag because, again, you might be able to get in the car. And the problem with getting in the car, look, that's my first choice too. Get in the car, throw the bug out bag in the back, and off you go. But chances are there's probably a 95% chance that the minute you get on the highway, it's going to be gridlock. We've seen this, remember, with the floods there in British Columbia a few months ago. All these people were trapped on the side of the road. They couldn't go anywhere. So at that point, you might have to get out of the car and walk to safety. And that's why I recommend you have like a backpack, a bug out bag, a school book bag. What else to put in there? So you got your maps. You need a flashlight. Personally, I prefer a headlamp because that way you have both hands free. You need some extra clothes, especially like a pair of gloves and extra socks and, say, a disposable rain jacket. You get one of those plastic ponchos. It's $2. They're clear plastic. They're cheap. They're crap. They work for like 1 day, maybe 2 days, but that's all you need it for. A first aid kit. A little first aid kit doesn't have to be a big one, but you're going to need a first aid kit to deal with cuts and injuries.
Just need one of those, right? Just one of those, or one for each person?
I would just get one of those, okay? So if you're doing this with a family, if you're planning to do this with a family, you're going to have to break up the ingredients into the different backpacks. So for the kids can carry a liter of water. They don't need to carry the first aid. They need to carry some extra clothes for them and some extra treats and snacks and energy bars that the kids can carry. But for the adults, for the parents, then you would need a small first aid kit. Then a multi-tool or a pocket knife. I prefer the multi-tool because I carry one everywhere I go. When I go on my bicycle rides, I carry the multi-tool. And oh my God, that thing has come in handy. When I crash the bike and I need to fix it and I'm at the top of a mountain, it would take me 8 hours to walk back down. I take out the multi-tool, I fix the bike, I'm down back into the city in 2 hours. A fire starter, so bring some matches and maybe a lighter and some waterproof matches. This way that if you are going to walk and you're stuck at the side of the road, well, then you can build a fire if it gets too cold. And here in Canada, except for 2 weeks out of the year, you're likely to freeze to death.
Right. Yeah. 6 months of winter and 6 months of bad skating. That's what we have.
Yeah, poor sledding. That's what the British ambassador to Canada wrote, yeah. So also get an emergency blanket. Those Mylar space blankets, they're like $2 a piece. It's better than nothing. I don't like them that much, and they're going to kind of break down, but they're quite useful. They can keep you warm, and you can also use them like a mini tarp, string it up between two branches, and you can sit underneath it and stay out of the rain. In addition to that, I recommend like a small fleece blanket. I carry with me like a car blanket. It's a gray wool. It's about 3 feet by 6 feet. Okay, so it's just enough to cover my body, but they're pretty warm. And you pair that with a space blanket, and you'll be okay. And let's not forget the self-powered radio. You still want to know what's going on. You're on the side of the road, or you're stuck in traffic, and so you can pull out that self-cranking radio so that you can listen into the Weather Channel and the local newscasts, and you'll feel a lot better having some idea of what's going on. And finally, let's not forget our pets. How are you going to bring the pet? If it's a dog, it's okay because Spot get in the car and he's in there, but make sure you got some pet food. Now I know preppers and survivalists that have bought a backpack for their pet. It's like a saddlebag for their pets. You sometimes see the service dogs that carry them, and they fill that up with pet food. I know a prepper that has 12 goats, and he fitted those 12 goats out, each with a saddlebags, and he can carry like a ton of food. These goats follow him down the path. They're all carrying 50 pounds of food and equipment.
Like a mule train.
Like a mule train, exactly, except with goats. It's hysterical to see that. And so that's like, and then a small cooking kit.
A sterno stove.
Yes, a sterno stove and just a pot, so that if you are stuck on the side of the road, or if you have to, slog it on foot through, fields and forests, boy, you're going to want to stop and get yourself a nice hot cup of soup, hot cup of coffee. And I put all that in my food store as well.
A mess kit as well.
Yes, a mess kit. So I put that all in there as well. I've got powdered soup. I got coffee, with the sugar and creamer all included. Those little packets you can get. Fill them up with half a dozen packets.
Right.
And so now at least you're going to be comfortable. We've seen recently the civilians in the Ukraine fleeing war, and I'm looking very closely, and almost nobody has a backpack. They're carrying things in their hand. The women will have a purse. The men will have maybe a garbage bag with, I don't know what they got in their clothes. I mean, I can't believe these people are so unprepared. War is coming, folks. And to be honest with you, Richard, war may affect us here, even here in Canada. So even more important to have a bug-out bag ready to go. Don't be like these people walking down the road holding an extra sweater in your hand. That's not going to do you any good. You need to have the bug-out bag. And, just Google it. You'll find hundreds of videos on how to pack a bug-out bag. I can give you some pointers now, but we don't have time to go through all of them. So I recommend that the listeners Google bug-out bag and watch, 2 or 3 videos. You'll get a good idea what you need to put in there. Then put one together. This way you are not caught by surprise. This way, if you get a notice, 5 minutes to get out, you got 5 minutes to get out of here, you're ready to go. Just put on your shoes, your jacket, grab the kids, grab the bug-out bags, off you go, you're done.
Right. If you've got it stored in the garage and you don't, hopefully you won't ever need it, but if it's sitting in there for a year, go back in and just like you check your smoke alarm batteries once a year, the same day that you set the clocks back or forward. Mm-hmm. So it's a good reminder. Do the same. Make sure all the batteries, if you're taking some batteries for a flashlight, yes. If it's not a hand cranked radio and you've got a battery operated radio, make sure you recycle the batteries.
Excellent points, Richard. Excellent. Yes.
All right. Stefan Verstappen, emergency preparedness expert, and the website formingcommunities.com. Formingcommunities.com. We'll talk again next week, Stefan. Have a great rest of the week.
You too, Richard. Bye-bye.